folks. Black Bull Markets have 10 merch packs to give away to clients who sign up before the end of the year, including one of these trader keys. So to go in the draw, all you need to do is sign up with the link below this video or in the podcast description, and you'll go in the draw to win. It's that simple. And remember, folks, when you sign up to Black Bull Markets through the Trading Nut link below, you're going to get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000 on your first deposit. All you need to do is click the link in the description below the video or the podcast.
What's going on, guys? It's Brinks Trades here, back with you again for another week of chart breakdowns. The time again has gotten shifted a little bit this week, so give it a couple seconds for everybody to hop on and start going through these charts. But hopefully everybody had a great trading week last week, and really was able to take a couple setups. There's a lot of turmoil or a lot of things going on in the market. Not turmoil per se, but a lot of beginning of the year, just volatility and things happening. So it's definitely good to be, get the first month of trading almost in the books, or pretty much in the books. I guess by the time Monday rolls around, it'll be like pretty much the 29th or so. Pretty much wrapping up January for the chart breakdowns and go from there. So let me go ahead and get to the actual charts. Again, as always, shout out to the Trading Nut platform for letting me come on and do my thing here, and break these charts down for you guys. And then if you want to stay locked in with me throughout the week, again, I do the Telegram chat that has free updated analysis that kind of will touch on Forex breakdowns as well. Obviously, this is just mostly for indices, but I also do Forex chats occasionally in there, and then just updating analysis with anything that we see in the market that may not be fully fleshed out, during the week. And so a lot of times when I do these breakdowns, we might be in a question area where we can come back and need more analysis on Monday to kind of get a better understanding. So a lot of times I'll follow up there. So let me go ahead and share these charts and let me hit these questions real quick. So yeah, no, you're allowed. So I think Charles de Roux. Sounds French. I might be messing that up. Apologize if I am. And yeah, you are allowed to ask questions. It's cool. I break all these down. I pretty much do these live. And I'm breaking things down in real time. So we're also this is my first time seeing the charts post, Friday close. So you guys are allowed to ask questions, and I don't divulge everything because a lot of times some of the concepts with the way that I would take to trade will take a long time to kind of break them down. But generally, if you guys have questions about, overall market direction, or even, occasionally other pairs or indices, we can kind of talk about those too. So yep, you're allowed to ask questions. Okay, really quickly. So starting with NAS, with the dollar index. Again, I say this as always, but we start with the dollar index because we want to get a better understanding of where price is going. And if we understand where dollar is going, we know the dollar is king. If we can figure out where dollar is, or make a good guess as to where dollar is going for the week and likely to draw to, then it will help us with the other pairs or indices. So when we look at dollar last week, kind of zooming in here, so starting on the weekly time frame, again, I called out a couple of things. So I said ideally we haven't really broken any structure on this weekly time frame, so I'd like to see price continue to the downside. And I was making a caveat last week about this fair value gap, and so there's a couple levels that I called out last week that I wanted to see respected if we were going to continue on with this downtrend. The first level was the high of last week, which we traded to and took out, and then the second high that I wanted to see price trade to and respect was the consequent encroachment of this order block, and we kind of wicked off those areas exactly, like the high of the week trade just above that. So as of right now, from the weekly time frame perspective, I'd like to see this price continue to trade to the downside and really look for areas of respect. If we go to the daily might give us a different story. So you can see the pretty much the majority of last week was consolidation, and we had a retest to this daily fair value gap, or really this is the overall weekly fair value gap, and a couple other liquidity markers in here. So let me go ahead and get this off of the let's move this to the weekly, and I'll come back. So we saw price really retest this fair value gap, this weekly fair value gap that's sitting here, which is the same one. Obviously, it's on the weekly time frame as well. It's the same one, just on a different time frame, which is why it doesn't necessarily line up right on this time frame. But ideally, so we're kind of in a state of limbo, like state of equilibrium, state of limbo here in consolidation. And so what I'd like to see price find a reason to continue down with this overall downtrend. But to be completely transparent with you, this is the space where we don't necessarily know for sure, right? So we're getting rejections from here, but we're also getting rejection from our weekly levels that we kind of called out previously. So what I'll be watching for is really just how we start the week off, right? And so if we come up to this high, maybe potentially grab liquidity again, and I'll draw this out. So we start the week off high, grab liquidity, and really fail to break through here. Then I'll be looking to continue off this short trend. And then the opposite for the fair value gap. And so really some signs here that we think that price might respect these levels and really continue to go up for bullishness. We respect the consequent encroachment of this. We traded all the way down to this and really respected this level. With again respecting the high of this. And so if we start the week out by grabbing sell side liquidity or really kind of starting the week out low, then I'll be looking to take things a little bit higher. And ultimately, this is a level that I called out that if price were to run to the upside, that I'll be looking at. Again, I'm still not 100% confident that even if we run up to these highs, that that this overall trend is going to be bullish. There's a lot of stuff in the markets that I'm not 100% confident in yet. So as of right now, I'm really looking for the market to kind of give us more direction come next week, and really looking to see how we react out of this consolidated area. If we're starting the week off by grabbing, buy side liquidity up here, then I'll be looking to go short. And if we try to retest this area again, then I'll look to go long. So really just kind of depends on how we start the week off. And so as of right now, I'll go ahead and get rid of these arrows. But ideally, I can make a case for both scenarios. And so a lot of times for me as personally as a trader is if I can make a case, most of the time, I'd say like 60 to 70% of the time when I hit the charts, I have an overall direction and overall bias that I'd like to see. And you guys have seen that previously last year where, I don't really try to call both sides or if this, then this type of situation. It's very much like, okay, this is the direction I think the market's going to go. This is our overall draw, and this is what I'd like to see. Right. And these scenarios where I can make the case that I can see both sides of the market playing out, these are low probability setups or low probability situations for me. So I really would like to get at some type of market direction before I really commit to taking positions personally. But for the sake of this, like these breakdowns, again, that's kind of what I'm looking at. So again, not every week is going to be a trading week. People are in the chat saw that I kind of called it an early trading week. I had one position that I took for a very small win last week. And so in the chat and the Telegram that I referenced earlier, I break down, I'm in the process of going through a funded challenge and you're really just kind of doing it live for everybody to see, uploading the results. Live with the results. So I upload the results every week through a TradeZilla account. And so last week I made the mention that, prices really didn't give me a lot of what I wanted to see, and just from the Nasdaq. And so um, I called it an early week. I think there were some setups that kind of played out later on in the week, but that's, it's bound to happen. So, um, not every week is going to be a home run week. Not every week is going to be a good trading week. I mean, and if you're looking at this, like if you're trading Forex pairs, right, looking at this, like this is just a mess, right? And so if you're trading like Euro USD or the other pairs that are Forex specifically related, or even indices as well, as we'll kind of touch on, this is not a good sign. This is not stuff that you really want to be trading in. If dollar doesn't give you a good direction, like why would you want to trade the others? So let me go to so overall, the bias is like, I'd like to see this continue on with the short-term trend. But we really don't have an overall direction. So um, it's kind of making that disclaimer. So we're respecting these levels, but we did break structure on the daily. So that's kind of what I'd like to see. It's like overall, would love to see this return to the downtrend. But gotta see what happens. So with that being said, let's look at Nasdaq. And so ideally, if we do think that we should return to that downtrend, we should want to see price continue to go up. And so when we look at, sorry, these were examples I was giving my students. So when we look at Nasdaq and we look at the overall of what's going on here, get rid of this too. I called out a couple of things that I wanted to see happen. And so with Nasdaq last week, if we back this up and go to the weekly time frame, what I said was I'd like to see price kind of trade into the future fair value gap, one of those two fair value gaps that price created or has either created or will have created by the end of Monday, to really give us an opportunity to continue to go bullish, because we're trading at all-time highs. And so when you're trading at all-time highs, you don't really want to fight that trend. You really want to look for opportunities to continue on with that bullish trend. And so looking for areas for price to pull back into to continue on and go a little bit further. So if this is basically where price was at when we met last week. And so again, I made the call out that I wanted to see price really trade into the future fair value gap that would be formed by the end of Monday. And so we didn't really have a good understanding of where that was going to be. It could have been here, it could have been here, wherever this Monday candle had closed was going to be like the idea. And so that's exactly what happened. So Monday closed here. And so we ended up getting a trading to that low that next day. So that's Tuesday. And so this, I think, was the only day that I actually traded. So if we go back to that Tuesday, let me go to the daily or the 4-hour. So there was a couple of setups that happened on that Tuesday that allowed us to really capitalize on that bullish momentum. And so if we're looking at this week, again, there are some levels that I'm going to call out and kind of make note of. So this is a volume imbalance. This is basically when you have a gap and price trades into it. And there's wicks in the gaps, but no candle closes. So I'm going to make a note of that. I'm also going to make a note of this level here. So I want to see how price respects this wick, or this level here, this consequent encroachment of this wick. And so if we come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're having a hard time breaking through this level, it's going to be a sign to me that we might retrace deeper into this, either this volume imbalance or really kind of retest this fair value gap, right? There's a lot of liquidity in here that we probably haven't touched yet. And so maybe we could see us doing that. So what I'll be watching for, again, I'd like to see price continue to go bullish, right? You have to continue to expect bullishness. So I'm looking for opportunities to continue this on. And so when the week starts, I'll be looking for us to grab liquidity either under these lows here Actually, I'll call all these levels out in a second. Again, sorry, doing live analysis. So this is my first time seeing the charts as well. So let me see. I think it should be this one. Nope. Dang it. Whatever. Okay. Let me make this green. Sorry. So again, I'd like to see price really retest one of these two levels, taking out this low here of last week and or trading into this if we get, that's the most ideal setup. And so these levels are going to be on Nasdaq 17,407, and then this fair value gap that begins at 13,379. So I'd like to see price trading to those, really give us a retest to continue to go long. Again, I will be noting this consequent encroachment level at 17,528, and I'm going to make the note here. Don't want to see this respected. Excuse me, to continue the bullish trend. So ideally, the high of last week will be kind of our target. I'm gonna make this longer. So the high of last week will be our target, and then the high of Friday's high will be our initial target for the week. But I will be looking to see how we trade onto Thursday's high, which is the all-time high as well. And so ideally, I'd like to see price again pull back to the low of last week or somewhere in this fair value gap. So I'll draw this out. Say something like this, like best case scenario to really continue on to the high. And it might not even go that deep, but really looking for an opportunity to buy at those particular levels is what I'll be watching out for. Visibility, daily. Yeah, so we could end up retesting this fair value gap again going into next week. I know these charts are pretty busy, but these are kind of a lot of the levels that I look for in this. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And I'll take a second to go to the comment section. So again, ideally, I want to see price really trade to the highs of last week or the highs of Friday and Thursday, and really look for opportunities to buy somewhere again in these lows. We could even risk to go as low as the volume imbalance. And so one thing that I'll be looking for is that volume imbalances are probably like the weakest kind of like liquidity marker that I use. And so again, I'll be looking to see how price respects this. If price really respects this level here, then it's going to be a sign that price is extremely bullish. And so I will not even look for things down here. But ideally, best case scenario, this is kind of like the best case scenario that I'd like to see price pull back to. Oh, shoot. I did not. Okay, Joseph, I think you're right. I'm showing the wrong chart. Hold on. Let me see. This is why this is what happens when you do stuff in real time. Let me see. Okay. Can y'all see this chart now? Give me some thumbs up if you can see the chart that I'm looking at. No? Yes? Okay. Okay. I think we're good. I think everybody can see. If you can't see it, then, drop a comment. And we'll go from there. Cool. All right. Awesome. Okay. So yeah. So what I was saying, or what I was, I guess, describing to you guys, was ideally like to see price on Nasdaq continue to go make bullish runs for next week. If you look at the weekly time frame, there's a couple things that have played out here. And so one of the things that I was calling out or trying to call out was this weekly fair value gap here. And so going into last week, I'm just going to get rid of all this and do this again. So going into last week, I wanted to see price trade into what would be this daily fair value gap, or where this, this high of this daily fair value gap would end at. And so coming into Monday, we didn't really know where this would be. And I'll just do all this again because you guys didn't see this. So coming into the week, what I wanted to see was price trade into this fair value gap here, right? And so I made the call last week that I'd like to see the top end of this fair value gap traded into. We didn't know where this would be because we needed Monday's daily candle to close before we can really give us a range for that top end of that fair value gap. And so I made the disclaimer that it could be here, it could be here, but wherever this Monday candle closed was going to be the top end of our fair value gap, and I wanted to see price trade back into that. So that's exactly what we got. So if you look here, Tuesday we traded into the zone, and we were bullish the rest of the way. Going forward, what I'd like to see is a couple of things play out. I'll be looking for is, if you're going back to the weekly time frame, obviously our target will be the high of last week from a weekly perspective. So I'd like to see price potentially give us one run into this weekly fair value gap here that's just formed, and then continue to look to go higher to the high of last week, which I believe is 17,793.5 as the high of last week. So that's going to be kind of like the target that we're aiming for. If we go to the daily time frame, there's going to be a lot of like things that we're going to want to note though, and that's kind of like the day-to-day stuff that I'll be monitoring. So one of the things that I'll be looking at here is going to be if I kind of zoom this in, make this a lot smaller. So one thing I'll be looking for here is, and going down to even the weekly or the daily, one thing I'll be looking for is for price to really retest these levels, potentially give us an area to continue to go long. I'll be looking at a few things. The first thing is consequent encroachment of this wick here, right? I want to see price continue to respect this level. And you can see that Monday's close really, or I'm sorry, Friday's close really did that. Another thing that I'll be looking for as I kind of go down to the 4-hour time frame is an area for price to potentially pull back to start the week off, which this looks very like enticing here. And so if I just kind of get rid of this off of the hour time frame, so from a 4-hour perspective, ideally this looks very enticing for price to pull back into. To take things to continue to go higher. And again, the high that I'll be targeting will be the highs of each previous day. Ultimately, our overall target is going to be the all-time high, but I really want to see how price reacts kind of on a daily basis to those levels. I think that's about it. So the levels that I'll be looking for price to really pull back to is this secondary 4-hour fair value gap here at 17,374, and I want to see how price reacts in this zone before we continue to go up. If we respect this wick and continue to trade off of these, I'd like to see daily closes above this wick here, or above this level here, this consequent encroachment level, to see if we respect that. And if we do, then that's going to let us know that price is going to be extremely bullish. So let me go to the comment section, see if there's anything. Again, apologies about that chart. So let me go to S&P. And so basically the overall theme with all these indexes is that we're very bullish, right? We're very bullish. We're hitting all-time highs. And so the last thing that I want to do is really look for sell setups in these because market direction is taking us higher. And so this is going to be one of those times whenever I'm trading at all-time highs, I'm looking at the market and I'm saying, okay, like we got to run the trend or just kind of follow the trend. Very rarely do I say like we have to follow the trend because we don't really have a target per se a lot of the times. And so our targets can only really be the highs of the previous days, or if we're looking for on a weekly perspective, the high of the previous week. Those are the only levels that I'm really looking at as far as targets. And I hate trading without targets. And so once those get hit, I'm usually done because there's nothing else to really for me to reference in the market. So kind of have to take advantage of those when they get there and kind of take things day by day or week by week, I guess. So if we go to the US 500, which is also the S&P, again, we're trading at all-time highs. We took out this past week. We took out that all-time high. And so this is on from a monthly perspective. If we go to the weekly, same thing. We took out that high last week. And so the only thing we can really do is retest the high that was formed last week. So what I'll be looking for again coming into this week is for price to potentially start off the week by going short and trading back into this fair value gap here. And really looking for opportunities to go long to the high of last week. Again, so we have traded through this previous high or this all-time high, but one thing I'll be watching is how we respect this. And so if we really get a lot of bearish momentum and a bearish movement and we don't respect maybe this fair value gap here, potentially this order block here, then I'm going to be looking to potentially go short, especially if we break structure off of this, grab of liquidity and break a structure. So that's what I'll be looking for. I also am going to note this volume imbalance here. Because this is another level that I think price could be attracted to. Yo, what's going on? Why did that just disappear? Okay, cool, it's there. So let me bring this to the weekly. So if we look at things from the weekly, going back there real quick, again, that volume imbalance is another level that I'll look at. But ultimately, I'm going to be bullish. So I'd like to see price potentially trade into this fair value gap or really respect this volume imbalance to continue to go higher. So boom. Okay, so at this point, same thing, really just kind of straightening it out and identifying that area. That volume imbalance exists on the daily as well. So again, I'll be noting that. And then the last thing really is Dow Jones. So overall, I'm still bullish on all these indices so far. If you go to the weekly again, this one, I'm not. Let me get rid of these because these are all weeks. Only thing I'm seeing, so I'd like to see price trade here and then attack the all-time high. I'm not gonna look to trade. If I was trading Dow Jones this week, I wouldn't, because we're really close to the high that was formed. So I'd like to see something like that. I'm also going to make a note to see if we respect again. I see. So I'd like to see price trade above that. My target will be the high of last week that was formed. And if we fail to trade over this level, then we could see ourselves set up for like a bearish opportunity. So this is going to be that like to see price ideally trade back down into the 38,000. Looks like 38,002, and then look for it to continue to go long to take out the high of last week on Dow Jones. It's not like the cleanest setup, and we're trading at all-time highs, but that's what I would be looking for. I think Nasdaq and I think S&P kind of give like the best opportunities for at least the way that I see the market to continue to go up. And yeah, so since we did recently take out all-time highs, I will be watching these previous levels to see like if we get any type of breaks of structure or something that could like take us to an overall downtrend. So I'm noting all that stuff, but as of right now, I have to continue on with that bullish sentiment in the market and just really ride that. And this is one of the few times that I'll just say the trend is your friend and you kind of have to continue following it. Every other time I trade in the market, I want to have targets. And so even within this, like, okay, we're just following the trend right now, we're just kind of following the bullishness, I'm still only looking for those targets to get hit. Once we get these highs taken out on any of the levels that I just call for any of these indices, I'm out the market for the week and I'm not trying to do anything else. So those are the targets. And so if they get hit before I get to take a position, then I'm just not trading this week. So that's just kind of the frame of reference. And so I need for me in the way that I trade, I need targets and I need overall draws on liquidity. So that's what I see. So if you guys have any questions at all, I'll stay on for a few minutes and then we can go ahead and keep going from there. And then again, shameless plug for the Telegram chat, right? So go ahead and, if you're not in there, go ahead and join. But it'll help you stay up to date with my updated analysis. A lot of people have been asking me about the mentorship course. And so every year I try to do at least one mentorship where I kind of work hand in hand with a lot of the students. This past year, the first one I did 2 years ago, I think I had like 100 students. This past one, I really toned it down to like 15 maybe or something like that. But I'm trying to understand a better number of like where we can like what's the best number to teach at a time and kind of like make it a hands-on experience for everybody. There also might be different levels as well. So like, I'm trying to figure all that stuff out. But needless to say, like March is when I'm planning on opening all that stuff back up. So if you are interested in that, just stay locked in on the Telegram channel and just I'll post more information there. So yeah. All right, so sounds good. Hopefully you guys have a good week and I'll catch you next week. Hopefully everybody has a good trading week. Peace.